Good evening and welcome to the Nevis Newscast. Today is Friday, May 29th, 2015. I'm Donis Wilkinson Keynes. The Caribbean Development Bank, CDB, is satisfied with the amount of work which has been carried out so far on the CDB NIA-funded Nevis Water Supply Enhancement Project. Junior Minister of Communications and Works, the Honorable Troy Liburd, made that note as he gave an update on the project during Wednesday's sitting of the Nevis Island Assembly.
Most of the works on island being done by our own local people, local equipment and local labor. And this week, I think it is sometime in last week that we had a visit from persons from the Caribbean Development Bank who were checking up on the project, and I am happy to report that they were very pleased with the progress that they saw.
Minister Liburd asserted that the project has been running smoothly.
There are 6 reservoirs to be built in this project. We have had the completion of all 6 reservoirs, and these reservoirs would add a total of 2,050,000 gallons to our capacity, imperial gallons to our capacity here on Nevis. As a matter of fact, just last week we had the commissioning of, well, not the commissioning, but I would say we had to bring the 500,000 gallon tank at Stony Hill into use because of misfortune we had with the existing tank in Stony Hill. So that tank is currently being used to provide water for the people of Nevis.
He also noted that a large percentage of the pumping and the transmission mains have been completed on the northern side of the island and that work will soon commence in other areas.
That's the side that runs from Maddens over to the Spring Hill area. So about 80% of the lane of the pumping and transmission mains has been done on that side of the island. We have already completed works on 2 out of 3 of the pumping stations that are to be built. We've completed works on the pumping station at Fothergills and the pumping station on Camps. There's a pumping station on Pond Hill that should be put in shortly. Also, we expect that works on the pumping mains and transmission mains on the southern side of the island, that's the side going from Fothergills running through Gingerland onto town. We expect work on that side of the island to commence early in the 3rd quarter of this year.
Minister of Communications and Works, the Honorable Troy Liburd. In related news, Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Vance Amory, is appreciative of the assistance that the Caribbean Development Bank has given to the island.
The CDB has been very good to Nevis over the years, financing some of our development projects, and we're sure after, the meeting of yesterday that we will be approaching them again for additional meetings. And one of project funding, one of the areas which we intend to approach them on is to look at maybe they're being part of the financing for the geothermal project and alternate energy as we go through to provide cheaper energy for the people.
Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Vance Amory. The Nevis Island Administration's Department of Social Services is encouraging residents to cooperate with the department as it commences the collection of data for the National Household Registry. The registry is a database of all households which seeks to help the department to better serve the community through government and public assistance. According to Joyce Movin, Deputy Director of the NIA's Social Services Department, a survey to collect the data on Nevis will commence on Monday, June 1st and will run for about 20 days.
So it is a very, very compact exercise, and it is encompassing the entire island. That is why we are asking people to cooperate and give the information as much as it's possible. And remember, I said it would be targeted. It is targeted the most vulnerable and the poor. So what we are asking is that when the enumerators come out in the community, we are asking community persons to work with them. If you know X person is a poor person, point it out to them so they can go and collect the data from that person. It is not going to be generalized as the census. So it's not going to be taking it all the households on Nevis. It is specific and targeted at a specific population.
And who would they be talking to? The head of the household?
Head of household, who we are hoping will generate all that information that is necessary. Help us to identify the vulnerable and the poor in our society, and for this we'll all be a better community.
Hazila Clark, Director of Social Services and Community Development on St. Kitts, says the National Household Registry is the third component of the National Social Protection Strategy of St. Kitts and Nevis. She is encouraging Nevisians to participate in the mass registration.
We know that there are many of you out there who need assistance, but for a number of reasons, you either are not comfortable coming forward, you've come forward in the past and have been told no, or you just do not trust the system. This system that we're about to implement will make it much more objective for you to get the services. Also, we know that not at present, the government of St. Kitts and Nevis and the Nevis Island administration may be offering services that do not match what you need. If you give us the opportunity to take this information so we understand how your household is made up and what the issues are in your household, then we give you a firmer commitment to create services that match your needs.
The registry will use the demographics as well as socio-economic statistics to determine the basic standard of living.
From that, your household will be ranked by either being indigent, poor, vulnerable, or non-poor. With that classification, you can now be assured of the services that you have a right to ask for. It is your right still to say I don't want them, but at least you know, based on your household characteristics, you qualify for this array of services, and it's your right to then agree to them and come on board with us.
The social protection reform process in St. Kitts and Nevis began in 2010. The Social Services Department today hosted a career exposition at the St. Paul's Anglican School Hall as part of its Second Chance Teen Mothers Program. Gender Affairs Coordinator Lorraine Archibald expressed the motives of her department through this effort.
Especially to the teen mothers, I beg of you not to become complacent and settle for less, but to rise to higher heights and become good role models. Let your dreams of excelling become a reality. This is your time, your moment to prove yourself, who you really are and what you want to be. You have the power to pull yourself from the jaws of defeat. You have been given a second chance. Now, I am asking you again, please, to bring out the best in yourself.
During the opening ceremony, coordinator of the Teen Mothers Program, Iversia Brown, gave the audience an overview of the activity.
We sought to invite several ministries and private institutions to come out so that the teen mothers would be able to interact with them, ask them questions one-on-one, gain information that would help them to advance their education and their training. We targeted several institutions and a few responded to us, and we're grateful to those who responded and decided to come out today.
Organizations which supported the activity included the Department of Education, the Ministry of Health, Four Seasons Resort Nevis, the UE Open Campus, the Advanced Vocational Education Center AVEC, as well as the Bank of Nevis Limited. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Social Development, Keith Glasgow, represented Junior Minister of Social Development, the Honorable Hazel Brandy Williams, when he delivered remarks.
Parenthood requires physical, mental, emotional, social, economic, and financial preparedness. And so, this Teenage Mother Program, including this career exposition, is an intervention designed to build capacity of its target group, both in terms of being effective parents and in career development as well.
The career exposition is the second phase of a two-part training session conducted during the month of May. During the first session, the participants received certificates of completion. Coming up, the Department of Agriculture commissions new shade house. The details after this break.
Culture, Fet and Fun. Culturama 41.
Welcome back. As primary school students across St. Kitts and Nevis prepare to take the 2015 Test of Standards, Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, has given a word of encouragement to the children and their parents. At a press conference on Wednesday, the Prime Minister admonished them to prepare for the exams.
We know that during this time, for many parents, it is a stressful period. But that is part of the challenge of parenthood. And ultimately, when our children succeed and do well, they bring joy and pleasure to the families and to their schools and their community. And that is what we want and expect of them. We have an opportunity by observation, by caring, by instruction, and by example to ensure that this batch 2015 of young people taking the test of standards will be and could be the best batch to have participated.
The Prime Minister noted that the way in which children are molded and brought up influence what they become.
We want the parents and guardians and all in the community to advise and admonish them that a good education is a sure path to preferred opportunities and a far better alternative than living a life of crime, which too many of our young people are now choosing. In this regard, it is never too early to start getting them on the right track. And so we are urging the parents at this critical time, their formative years, to inculcate the best of values, application, consistency of effort, due care and attention to their schoolwork.
The 2015 Test of Standards will commence on Tuesday, June 9th. The official commissioning of the Department of Agriculture's new shade house took place on Wednesday, May 27th at the Prospect Agricultural Station. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture and the chairperson of the ceremony, Eric Evelyn, gave brief remarks while Kenroy Martin delivered the overview of the project. The shade house was donated by the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation and Agriculture, AICA, and the Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute, CARDI, which was represented by George Thompson.
Young people, especially those who do agriculture, will find it very attractive to come to a facility like that and to borrow money to get into something like that. So I am envisaging a brilliant day for agriculture, where people will be able to, go out and make money and even change the car to a better one and things like that. So this is very important, and I am very happy to be associated with it.
AICA representative Augustine Merchant said AICA and CARDI would be working closely with the Department of Agriculture to properly utilize the shade house, which will be used to cultivate tomatoes and sweet peppers.
We will be working closely with the ministry, conducting a number of training. Now, when I developed the project, I built in 4 training programs in the project. So there would be 4 training available. And I want to emphasize that we are not leaving the shade house up to the ministry. Mr. Thompson and myself, we have a responsibility to work with the ministry and ensure that that shade house is being used properly.
In his comments, Minister, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, encouraged the farmers to invest in this type of technology.
What this technology represents to the island of Nevis is that it should and would stimulate the interest in agriculture, encourage trade, and also promote healthy lifestyles. As such, this greenhouse and all of the greenhouses that will be constructed in Nevis represent the next step in agriculture, or the next level that we are hoping to take agriculture here on the island of Nevis. Imagine constructing a greenhouse on 4,000 square feet and realizing hundreds of thousands of dollars from that particular confined space. That is why I do believe we are on the right track, and I want to encourage our current outdoor farmers, budding farmers, and enthusiasts as well to get on board and utilize this technology and derive all of the necessary benefits that can be derived.
Minister Jeffers also expressed his gratitude to AICA, CARDI and all allied partners for contributions to the construction and for various donations. Minister Jeffers, Merchant and Thompson performed the ceremonial cutting of the ribbon to signal the official opening. Pastor Wayne Maynard blessed the Shade House, while committee member Samuel Powell gave the vote of thanks. That's it for this evening's edition of the Nevis Newscast. I'm Donis Wilkinson Keynes, and on behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, thank you for viewing. Good night.